Just when you thought it was safe.
Yo, hey, you know what time it is? It's my guy,
Many dogs.
Hey, I'm your host, K3. Hey, this is a special edition of For the Record. We're not gonna go super over the intro because they're gonna yell between our guests. You know what I mean? But
What guest?
yeah, absolutely. So we have a special guest.
Special.
I mean, from District 19?
15.
Okay, clearly I did my research, right? This District 15 chair, right? So not just the little chair, the big chair, right?
Big chair.
That actually going around in our communities, activating people and getting, again, just kind of out in front of the camera, you know, and letting us know a little bit what she does. Jess Meuzelaar.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
First of all, I want to complain about how you question how you say it. She just told you.
Listen, I still want to make sure I say it because, like, again, she's out here on the scene now, so you got to make sure who she is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just Meuzelaar.
No.
Make sure you say it right.
And for my Latino people, Meuzelaar.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a lazy tongue, so I can't do that. So anyway, like I said, you know, I mean, she's out here fresh on the scene again, out here doing things in our community. So I just want to just kind of tap in and just make sure that, again, we can kind of see, you know, where first of all, where does this activation come from?
Well, I grew up in a political household. My dad has run for office a couple of times. So I kind of grew up, doing the fundraising and the parties and parades, a lot of parades.
For sure.
But then I have kind of always secretly been into politics at home. I'll talk to you about it in person. Don't really talk about it online much.
I got you. Good idea.
Yeah. And I kind of have, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I sit at home a lot, and I'm kind of trying to do more in the community.
Okay.
Kind of find my people and where I fit. And so I started going to some meetings of stuff that I was interested in. And so I also do Moms Demand Action, and it's about gun safety. It's not about a gun ban, but about safety, and then suicide safety, kind of awareness. Yeah.
Okay.
And then so I started with that, have met some people through that. And then I started going to some meetings also for the Democratic Party, and I was at one, and they were like, "Would you like to chair this district?" And I was like,
So people,
yeah.
so people approached you, like they kind of just saw that in you and just said, "Hey, you know what? Let's give you an opportunity." Or
they said they'd been looking for someone for a while. Jamie Smith, he is a senator right now in our district. He kind of has been holding that position until they could find someone they thought would be good for the position.
Okay.
And so, that's kind of how that happened.
So I guess maybe I'm gonna make sure I kind of step back a little bit. So you sought out some of these groups, or did you go find them on social media? How did you find some of these places to know where my people actually are?
Yeah, social media. So I have been going to some of the protests and networking with people that way.
Okay.
Finding people online is kind of fun when I go to the protests and stuff. People that I talk to online will come up and hey, I'm so and so from online, and I follow you, and we talk, and I think that's really fun. So yeah, just through some networking and stuff, and then once you go, it's kind of the same group of people that do all of the things. Once they see you so many times at these various things. Yeah. So that's kind of how that happened. But social media, if you want to go to a Democratic Party meeting, that stuff is online too, on their website. But I do think some of that is a little bit hard. I do hear from people sometimes that they want to get involved and they don't know where to find the opportunities. So that is kind of something that I am trying to do then in my chair position as well.
Get information out for how people
figure out some better ways to get information out to people, because I know that the older generation has complained it's hard for them with social media. They don't know how to navigate things as well, and so they don't see things they want to see until afterwards. And so that is kind of something that I want to tackle, and kind of thought about, I would like to throw some classes maybe at the downtown library. They have a room you can book. It would be nice if we could have a few volunteers where we just say like, hey, do you need help navigating social media, creating an account, finding what you are looking for? Like, I would love to help people with that because that's pretty easy help to give people.
That's a very, very good initiative as well to start at the basics, the beginning, right? So I want to get people involved. How do I get people involved? Let me create a gateway or a space to get those people that are looking for that entrance, right? To create that entrance for them. Yeah. I just know, like, being involved. I mean, all the things you're kind of telling me is still over my head. I'm gonna be 1,000 with you.
Yeah, I want to take a step back though, because to get the position you got, it's not just like, hey, she looks like somebody who we want to be the chair.
Sure.
So what was the thing that captivated them enough about you to say, hey, would you like to do this? Because that's not, you just don't ask anybody.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, and I don't know for sure, I can't speak for them, but I'm assuming that it's a combination of, one, showing up at things. Two, I tend to speak up when I'm at things. I don't really sit quietly.
In the corner and be quiet.
And I am pretty good with social media stuff. I think my presence is pretty good and everything like looks really put together and clean,
Oh, for sure.
So I think
we
that
need to take some stuff, some notes from her, because we ain't like that.
We getting there.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, you don't realize I interrupt a lot. Continue.
It's fine. You're fine. So I just think maybe a combination of things. I can't be sure, but that would be my guess. Maybe is that.
Yeah, because oftentimes when you ask somebody to chair something, I mean,
you're gonna lead some.
Yeah. And they've been at the very least wowed by some of your ideas or your courage. What would you say is your strong point? What is the one thing you feel like is your strong point in your role and how people are attracted to you?
Yeah, I think that my strong points could also be some of what people look at as a negative, depending on who you are. I don't have a problem saying things, and sometimes it's maybe things I shouldn't have said, or I know that I can make people uncomfortable because I feel very comfortable in who I am and my opinion and what I have to say, and sometimes that can be uncomfortable for people.
We say that all the time here around here. Is this some people having that confidence makes people that don't have that confidence very insecure about that. And it's not a cocky thing. It's just I'm just passionate about what I'm about. Yeah. So therefore, like when I breathe or talk and I'm walking a certain way, it's like exuding what I'm talking about. Yeah. And then for other people, it's like, oh, why is that? Why can't I be like that? You know? So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're right. And I won't talk about something or form my opinion on something if I'm not like very well versed in it. Like I will very much make sure I have done my research and formed my opinion. And if I don't know, I will say I don't know. And then I will say, let me read more about it and I will get back to you on what I think about it.
I was going to say very unlike everyone else on the internet, right?
Well, I don't like being wrong.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I don't want to say something and then get called out later because I was wrong.
You said this, but me, I put my foot in my mouth all the time, so it doesn't matter if I'm wrong or not. That's where I probably need to work on myself a little bit. Yeah. Because I get passionate about something and I'll just speak on it, not knowing all the facts all the time. But my heart was in the right direction.
Yeah. You're baitable. You're very baitable.
I would be a very liable candidate. They say like you would have some hard times reining me in on some things, but my heart and my intentions are good. I know that doesn't really count, but sure.
So, now tell me this though, and I'm glad you said that because it's very rare that you have someone in any political spectrum to say, "Hey, let me look this up first."
Yeah, absolutely.
Before I answer that, right? What's your take on people in your world who are making decisions solely based on political affiliation versus
being versed
what's
in
being
it?
real?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. Yeah. I don't like it. I one big thing for me about what I'm doing is I love getting out and talking to everybody. Yeah. I seriously, I do. I want to sit and hear everything everyone has to say. I want to hear your opinion on what's going on. I want to hear stories about what like how you grew up and what matters to you and why it matters to you. Because I think that is really the only way that we can all come together is if we are all understanding of each other.
Absolutely.
because that's been my biggest thing as far as like how I grew up and how I have gained my world perspective of everything is talking to people and hearing their stories. And so then, you know, we kind of are in a bubble in South Dakota. And so a lot of the things that are going on, if you didn't watch the news, you would never
100%.
know.
And then
So then when you do watch the news, you kind of like, is that really happening?
Absolutely.
So I think if you gain a worldview from talking to actual people that these things have actually happened to, it's easier to understand then when you're watching something on the news, like why that's happening and believing people when they say that's happening.
And I kind of like how you kind of said that specifically is like, it also, to me, it depends on what news outlet you're watching what that message actually comes across.
For sure.
So to kind of take that a little bit further is like, obviously we know we have like Fox News, we have CNN, we have this and that. How do we know what's, you know, news outlet to watch? And how do we know it's the actual truth or the facts around the situation?
I know. I do think that's hard. I think the best thing is to watch more than one news station.
100%.
And you know, if you can use social media, get your news get some, not all of it, but get some of your news from social media and hear from actual people that are actually, you know, things are actually happening to and are there. Because I think the news is great, but the way they phrase things sometimes is incorrectly. It's to get clicks. It's to, you know, and so, yeah, things definitely get spun in a way that things are not happening for sure. I think that, like I said, honestly, just talking to people and gaining a different worldview outside of where you are in your little bubble, I think is the biggest thing, so that you believe people when things are happening versus if you only have your life experience, why would I believe anything you're saying?
Absolutely.
We have lived two completely different lives, you know?
Yeah.
So,
but you know, it's like for instance, political parties, we find a commonality. So I know there's a big, broad base of people that believe one in particular way. And Zabi, you know, we know living in the state that we live in, there's a lot of information that's tailored to that base.
Yeah.
How do we get the most genuine information from not only from our candidates, but also just from like the things that we're seeing on social media, some of our committees that we're having, all these different groups are having certain things. How do we get the most out of that information?
Well, my opinion is that I think that candidates need to put their money where their mouth is and be out in the community and showing people what they're about and what they stand for and what they're going to do, and talking to people and taking the time to get to know everyone and the needs of the community. I think that that's how you do that, is in person, because then when you hear that person talk, you can believe what they're saying. Absolutely. You know, like, I think showing up and doing what you say you're going to do is the only way you can gain confidence in what you say you're going to do.
Absolutely.
And that's how you get people to believe you, is doing what you said.
Being in your community, for sure, 100%.
What would you say is because we're talking about action, we're talking about getting people going and really involved and invested in what's going on and finding the truth. How do we get people, in your opinion, how do we get people more active in voting? Because I think we live in a world right now that we love the protests, right?
Yeah.
We love to show up at the things, but where we're missing
the voting
is at the polls.
Yeah.
So
big time.
How do we get that rally going?
Yeah, South Dakota is notorious for having horrible voter turnout for everything. I think we need to get people to understand your vote, it matters. In my district, one candidate won by like 7 or 9 votes or something like that. Like, imagine if that handful of people hadn't showed up.
I got 10 homies. Y'all can vote? Come on.
And that's what it boils down to. The more people you know, the more people getting in front of, putting that message in front of, they get kind of that like-minded agreement to sit down and actually show up to do the thing. You know what I mean? So. And
I think politics has been so demonized. It's such a back and forth game about and everyone views politics as like a very angry game. And I think that it doesn't.
It feels angry.
It feels angry. It does. It does. It feels
gangish.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so a lot of people are like, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want to be part of that. So the problem is then people don't take the time to learn what to vote about. Yeah. And then they're just like, meh, I'm not going to go vote then. I think, one, we have to just get people to understand it matters. You know, like we have to get them to realize that their vote matters and voting matters, you know, because it affects a lot of stuff.
So I'm gonna take and play devil's advocate, right?
Yeah.
So going back to when everyone was voting for legalization of marijuana in South Dakota, and I've
never heard of it. What's that?
Absolutely. And there was a mass vote that we actually all came together and voted for one thing.
We said yes.
Then the powers that be said that, not so fast. We're going to do some more stuff and basically kind of change what we really voted for. Yeah. So how do we get that? How do we get past that situation? Because I feel like that's where we get our voting doesn't matter. Yeah, absolutely.
So we get past that by not voting for those people. I mean, like, unfortunately, that's the basic answer. Like, you have to, like, when you pick the candidate that you want to run things, you have to listen to what they're saying. So many people are duped by, I don't know, so many of us hear what a candidate is really saying, and so many people see this polished, pretty side that they vote for. And the rest of us were like, hey, but they said they were going to do all of this, this, and this, and this. That, you know, I sit and talk to so many people all the time, and I'm like, do you know why you vote Republican? Because I haven't heard you
give me a reason.
Every stance you give me is not necessarily a Republican stance. So if this is the person you're voting for, I don't think you're going to get that from this candidate.
It's not aligning with what you actually say you want, but they go with what they know, right?
Yeah, so many people just have always voted one way, and so that's just the way that they vote.
I think that's really our biggest plague in voting, in my opinion, right? Because I have some very conservative views, and then I have some very liberal views, right? And when you get lazy with your vote, right, you're just going back to what we talked about. You're making a vote based on your affiliation without having facts in front of you. Yeah. And then when we finally, like you were talking about, Kay, that when we out here and show up and show out, and then they're like, wait a minute, that wasn't what we were supposed to do. I think, and you were talking about relatability, I think one of the things that especially here in the Midwest, South Dakota, people struggle with is imaging.
Right? For sure, 100%. And
so I'm curious as to see, you make a statement. You say, "Hey, I'm a stay-at-home mom." Yeah. Right. And I wanted to do some things in the community. Do you get pushback from people, from different media or political adversaries, right? That are saying, "Well, what do you really know about
this or that?
This or that? You're home." Right. Or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of pushback have you received, and then how do you meet that?
Yeah. So, one thing I will be very open about all the time is all of my past experience. I think that all of my past experience gives me good insight into so many different areas. In high school, I was in a lot of trouble. I was in and out of a lot of different facilities in juvenile facilities in South Dakota for drugs. So I have quite a understanding of the judicial process in South Dakota and the facilities here, and things that are lacking, things that could be improved. And then after I graduated high school, I was a single mom. For a long time, I was on welfare. I know what it is like to, one time, I worked a few hours of overtime because someone didn't show up for work, and my paycheck was $20 more than normal, and I had all my benefits taken. So for that month, I you know, I had to scramble and go to the food bank, and I had to figure out who could maybe help. Like, what extra can I do to try and make my rent? Like, I was very worried that I was going to lose my house. Like, then I, you know, eventually worked my way off of welfare. And then I've been a working mom.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a stay-at-home mom. So I just feel like I have so many different areas where I personally know what it feels like to be in those situations. I feel like I'm not running for anything right now, but I feel like I could be a great candidate in the future because I get it. I personally understand what it's like to be in like all these different situations. And I feel like a good person. I feel like I could be a good person to fight for these things for other people and maybe see some areas where some of these systems can be improved a little bit, or, you know, like, I'm like very open about that stuff, you know, and like why I think I am in a good position to talk to people and understand where they're coming from, you know?
So you're the people's person. It's the thing and I find that really a brother fresh air in any political realm. When you feel like you can connect with the person, and I think that's what there's a new wave of energy that's coming. And there's some resistance there, right? Because the old guard is not leaving without a fight.
Yeah, change is hard for people. Yeah.
And there's still some of the uptight, we don't talk about those kinds of things. Thinking. Where this new age and this new wave of energy is saying, no.
We're talking about
We're going to talk about the thing because I lived through the thing. And I think when you were talking about attracting votes, that's the way we got to do it.
Yeah.
You have to be a person that can be touched.
Yes.
Right? That can actually relate. Because really, every time you turn on your TV, you turn on a campaign. Or you turn on a campaign commercial. It's the same thing.
Yeah. We have a lot of very privileged people in high positions that have never gone grocery shopping. Some people have never driven themselves, their own vehicle to anywhere. Like, how do you vote for someone who is, managing our economy and has never grocery shopped for themselves?
Absolutely.
You know?
And I tried to take it like super, high, because obviously we're talking about our community, and there's, there's levels to, even the mayor, the governor, right? And then there's Senate, House seats, things like that. I feel like a lot of the times we are so caught up in the very high positions that we forget that these lower positions are ones that actually make the change, that we actually, can do the things that we want to have done. So community chair. Obviously, what's the levels that we have, like, based on, like, just to say up to the mayor? Where does this sit? Where does this position sit, so we can kind of know, we can gauge how much power we can yield from you, right?
So I don't know that I personally necessarily have. I don't have a ton of power, but I do have access to some of the people that have the power. I'm kind of like the person out doing a lot of the community work.
Liaison.
Yeah, and so I really want to spend time talking to people and figuring out for our candidates, like, what they want to see from the candidate. Like, what gets you excited? What would get you to come out to an event? What kind of candidate do you want? Because there's so many open positions. There are so many positions that people aren't even we don't have candidates for right now. So, I mean, what could get you to run? Like, what kind of support do you need to run? I'm kind of at the ground level doing a lot of the groundwork so that the higher up people can do their job, which is doing things
that we need done
in government, writing the bills and voting on them, passing them, So I'm kind of in the ground level, figuring things out.
She's in the lobby. We need to get someone that's going to open the door for us so we can get to the elevator.
She's in the lobby. She knows where everything's at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
so she's gonna get us in the room.
We are outside. Like, me and you are outside.
So how do we get back? Because we joked about it. It's gangish out here. how do we get to more of a bipartisan effort? Like, what's your in your opinion, what's the secret ingredient? What's the secret code? Because I'll tell you this, I didn't even know. Speaking of the mayor, I didn't know what Paul was for the longest time. Yeah. Like what political affiliation he had, right? I just found that out 2 weeks ago. Because I know the man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel I know Paul more than I know
Mayor Tenhaken,
right?
Yes.
And so when you see these people and you got heavy hitters like, Kaden, she's killing it, Dawn Marie.
Kaden is in my district.
Yeah. So Kaden, she's out. These are people that are really, again, out here doing work. They're approachable, they're touchable, and they're working together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you watch, Kaden and the mayor or Dawn Marie, the mayor, or all these different people, Dusty Johnson's another one, right? Like, these people are touchable and they're not pigeonholed. And so, but what's the secret sauce to get us to be more bipartisan? What's the secret sauce to say, hey, this is going to be, especially here, Sioux Falls in particular.
Yeah.
In 3 years, we're going to gain another 20,000 people.
Yep.
How do we get this landscape to start working more?
One is good candidates. Good candidates is one of the biggest things. But honestly, getting out in your community and talking to people and finding out what's important in our community, because what's going to work in South Dakota is not going to work for California or New York or Virginia. We need to think about what's important to people here, what people here need from us, and that's what we need to work on. And then make it more of a group effort and make it less polarizing. It's hard. Politics has really become kind of an icky subject for a lot of people, and people don't like to talk about it. It's like I said before, it's gotten so angry. And I think just remembering that we all live here together and we all want to have nice things together. We want to be happy. And
I feel like it's always starts that way because, again, we get a candidate. It's like real, like I said, touchable, real close, relatable. And then not every candidate, but I feel like they get very polished and very far away from my viewpoint where I thought we were getting to, right?
Yes.
So how do we kind of keep those people grounded? Because even we're going to talk about our governor. I know it's not really great, right? Or our previous governor, governor. And very I feel like over the course of a couple of years, she just went from here to So I feel like the career aspirations take over. Is it just like, hey, you're playing to my initiative? Like I just don't understand where they rocket from ground level, where we got them, where we started them from, and now they're making millions of dollars doing privatized this and this and that. Everything's so private. It was so public before. It was so about the people, about the community before. What they run on and compared to what they are at after 2 years, 3 years. Oh, hey, my term's coming to an end. Now I got my career aspirations taking me to Washington or take me whatever. Yeah. But I say all that to say, how do we keep our candidates focused on our community? Yeah. And hold them accountable to the things they're running on compared to just I'm taking off in 3 years and going to do other things.
So I think one thing is taking people at face value, taking people for really for who they are and not just what they're saying that sounds cute and fun. I think that gets lost a lot.
Oh yeah.
People watching get really into the campaign and forget that, but in the past, this person did that. I think we need to take people at face value for who they are. Really listen to what people are saying, for sure. But also we need to hold our representatives accountable when they get into office and they do the things that they said they weren't going to do, or they're not representing us how we said we wanted to be represented. We need to hold them accountable and we need to let them know, and everyone needs to speak up. You make phone calls, you send emails, you can even write a letter, but keep the pressure on your candidate if they're not doing what they said that they would do.
Yeah, and that's what I want to kind of really focus on. So holding our candidates accountable, so you said write letters to our local town hall, things like that. call down there to? Like, what are all the things we need to do to hold them accountable?
Yeah.
And where does it go from there?
So there is an app called 5 Calls. I think if you want to make phone calls, they have it set up to make it really easy for you to make phone calls to your representatives.
Okay.
A lot of times they don't answer, but you can leave a message or a voicemail. You know, someone will answer the phone, or you can leave a message. Tell them, let them know. You can send emails. It's, you know, you can pull up their email address online, or that is something that we can try to make more accessible so people don't have to Google and look for stuff. But, you know, even writing physical letter, or showing up at things, you know.
Go to city council meetings. Go to the county meetings.
Or even, I know John Thune recently had something at the Battleship.
Yeah.
And I know some people that wanted some answers from him about some things showed up at that.
So you got to show up and press them for real.
Yeah.
So
I know that sometimes they try to plan stuff at their offices to try to get them to talk in person, and that never really happens. A lot of times the representative doesn't show up to the office or won't come out.
Okay.
But still.
Absolutely.
Still, the pressure.
Let them know we out here for sure.
Yeah, and then if they're not doing what they said they would do, stop voting them back in.
Absolutely. So do we know like how, like what's the length and time of like each of these like candidates, or like what's our mayor's term? Like how long is our mayor?
He's done next year. So you can do 4, you can do 2 terms. So
okay, so 4 years each term?
Yep.
Okay, so do we know what's the term length for like some of our like council seating and things like that?
Yeah, everything is different, and limits are different for every step of the way. But yeah,
I really wish that we could do, and this is me. This is off script. I don't know. I'm talking about this, but I really wish that we would focus on like those older people in those older seats in Congress. You have to blow the dust off of those guys. If we can limit the terms of those people, because I feel like what happened in 1930 and how they thought back then doesn't really equate to what's going on in 2025. You know what I'm saying?
But do you know what the problem is? We don't have the candidates. There some people run unopposed sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yes.
Yeah. I know a lot of sheriffs run unopposed a lot too in a lot of communities.
Especially in like South Dakota. People are really... Especially people are scared to step up as a Democrat here, I think, and run against a Republican.
Yeah, because you're fighting against a machine then, I feel like. Because, I mean, if you don't know, our state is mashly red, largely.
So it's interesting because if you would look at, you know, break down the issues.
Counties?
If you look at, I mean, obviously there's some very red counties. There's some very purple. There's some very purple areas where it is very evenly mixed.
Okay.
And so I just feel that if we could get a really good, strong candidate in a lot of these places that has the right South Dakota values for each side, I just feel like we could
jump
that way, maybe.
I think that's part of the problem, though. I think is that people start to rely on the hometown perspective, right? And like you said, we, especially here in Sioux Falls or South Dakota, period, there's a lot of sheltered view. There's not a whole lot of world view. And so when we stay in that hometown mindset, it's like, okay, we're going to get the same old. Another friend of mine is Corey Peterson, and he's like the chair of the Republican Party, right? And he's cool dude, but you won't know because he'll get pegged. Oh, you're this? I'm not even talking to you. Yeah. When that's probably somebody
you should be having a
conversation with, because he is part of the wave of change that could happen. But I think when you get into red versus blue, it's like, oh no, he's the head honcho of the Reds. I feel and when you miss that opportunity, we stay stuck in this.
Well, I was gonna say one thing I do like about both parties. I do see that it is starting to become a little bit more youthful. Like that's what I talked about a little bit. I like to see that we are getting more involved. But again, I feel like even like 25, 26. I like to see that level because I feel like they're going to be in this situation a lot longer than us, obviously just based on lifespan, right? But I'm feeling like they're a little bit more closer to get involved so they can get to those nooks and crannies of people that are like 21 to whatever and talk to those people compared to like even like our age group, unfortunately, we're like 40 to 50 age group now. But
it's
like
a different 40 to 50.
Yeah, absolutely.
You remember what 40 looked like?
Absolutely.
1990. So 40 looked like it was done. It was
absolutely. So I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. So just say 30 to 40. 30 to 40 age group. But again, like even those age groups, we have different needs and different wants out of our community, and especially our candidates. So again, by us having a little bit more youthful start, at least we can start getting kind of out in front and then having a more relatable message and maybe broaden it a little bit. So it's not just focused on 30 to 40, 50 to 60. Like I feel like a lot of our candidates are always focused on one age group over another instead of just trying to say, hey, across the spectrum, let's get everybody a little bit what they want so we all can be happy with what we're getting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I have a couple of things to say about what you're saying. So the first thing I would say is that one big thing I want to know is like, as far like age wise, like Gen Z and millennials, I want to know what it would take to get them out doing stuff. Because when I go to stuff, it is all boomers and silent generation and some Gen X.
Yeah.
It's all a much older crowd, and they're the ones really
running the polls.
They are, but they're also the ones out doing all the protesting, doing all of the community work, so it is one of my biggest goals that I'm trying to figure out is what does it take to get a younger community invested and involved and caring about how, like, when we vote and what things are being voted on.
I would say one way.
Yeah.
That is to have like-minded and also look representing wise like my community that I represent. So if I come looking like I'm straight out of Washington wearing a suit, pinstripe, nice slicked hair, glasses, I don't relate to 75 of the people that I'm going to see.
Yeah.
If I show up, I'm not saying to do it. If you take my idea, fine, I want credit. Show up in a t-shirt, in a t-shirt or a tracksuit.
Yeah.
Like I'm fresh off of work. Like I'm in between going from here to practice the gym, whatever. If I show up like that and I look the way that my community looks like, or say I work a blue collar job and I show up, I got a little bit of grime on my hands. I got my t-shirt's a little dusty.
Yeah.
I would feel like that would represent more of the people that do the daily.
Yeah.
Compared to the people that are like, oh, I'm running for a reason. And I can already tell you're running for a reason. You kind of look like that polished, White House type. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my opinion. So
yeah.
I think sometimes we get caught in that too because there's people who play the part.
Oh yeah,
They're just that part.
Yeah.
There's a double-edged sword for sure.
I'm the everyman. No, you're not.
Yeah. But you can pick up you can pick up a little bit from that too, a little bit. But yeah,
right. So I feel like you guys are basically saying a lot, very frequently, that you just feel disillusioned by everything all the time.
That's
you just
what it
feel like
is.
you're not getting what you're voting for.
100%.
Yeah, and so that's why we need people to get out and do their part too. Like pick, read about the candidates, be involved and figure out what they are saying and what they're going for, and then actually vote. Because in South Dakota specifically, we have such a poor
voter turnout,
turnout all the time.
And I feel like, we touched on a little bit to do our conversation, but the reason why our voter turnout kind of gets more and more, dismal as we go along. But I feel like maybe again, another personal opinion of mine is maybe if we focus on maybe one initiative, because there's so much stuff happening all the time, right? So if I want to get youth or I want to get more of a perspective, I'm going to focus on just one initiative and I'm going to go gung-ho about that. So, and I can say that for us too, we can be more involved in some of the things because we talk about it, just as our opinion, but a lot of this stuff affects us. Like on a regular monthly, daily basis, the stuff that we're voting on does obviously matter. So, you know what I mean? So we got to get people involved in one thing or another and then use that person to represent the rest of everybody else, or at least have a point person I can go to get my information from you or from Manny. Manny knows this. Jess knows this. So I want to go get my information from a person that's actually doing the thing compared to somewhere that's someone far, far away that I'm following every day, and I'm not following the person that's right here down at home, you know?
Yeah, local politics really matters more, I think, than people realize, especially because so much now is being kicked back to the states. They're overturning stuff at a national level, and they're kicking it back to the states. And that's when you want to make sure you have the people representing you that represent your values and what you want to see happen. So, I think that gets
that brings me to a question. So, like, you can answer it or not.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get nobody in trouble.
Yeah, sure he's not. Sure he's not.
Gotcha. How real is political bullying? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where, like, you have this person, that's a candidate, they really have the gusto, and then all of a sudden, it's gone. How real is political bullying between the parties?
I mean, I think it's less in person and more of it is really online. But the thing that people really need to remember is that so many people, one, are just saying things to bother people. They don't even believe some of the stuff they're saying. Some people love to just troll. But secondly, the internet is full of bots. Half, maybe even more than half of people leaving hateful comments are not even real people. And that's their purpose, is to divide us. And so I think that is why all of this community stuff is so much more important, to get out, meet the other people in your community, and realize that a lot of it is illusion online. So that's something I'm trying to do as chair, is come up with lots of events in my community. People are really, really missing community a lot. You know, we lost a lot during 2020, during COVID. Like, we just had a block party at my house and my neighbors, and almost every house invited showed up. People are really craving that community and missing having that now. And so now we're talking about like doing maybe some kind of Halloween party together or something because it went so well. And so I want that like for everyone, not just my block or my district. I want that for everyone. And I think that's how we stop being so divided, is remembering that like, hey, you're my neighbor and you're a real person. And maybe what's online is not real. And we need to remember that we're a community. We're all here together. We should want the best for everyone in our community, because if you do better, I do better, and you do better.
For sure.
Absolutely. For sure. I think a lot of people forget that, because it's more gimme, what can I get for me mentality, compared to just saying like, hey, we're all in this collectively together. And I feel like, you know, there is a ton of divide, obviously, online. That's literally all you see, is either you're doing this or you're doing that, or and then you talk about the bots, right? So I know that, you know, social media is, at this point, if you want to do anything in the world, you have to have some sort of social media, right? But the downside to social media is you open yourself up to bots and, like I said, hate, like you said earlier. So what do you do to kind of combat just the hate itself? And then how do you continue to persevere? Because you know you're going to receive flack regardless if you do or not. Depending on what people say, some of it is laughable. Like, you know, you can kind of tell when it's a bot. It's like the silliest comment ever. You're like, really? Like, my thing is that name calling is usually the first thing I always see.
Answer like T1000.
Exactly.
I try to not let things bother me personally if it wasn't personal. Like, if you said something to me, you could probably hurt my feelings, because I mean, you've been my friend for a long time, and you'd probably say something pretty personal, right? But these people on the internet, they're random people. They don't really know me. It's like empty comments, you know?
Misplaced
I always
aggression.
like to picture them, you know, in a dirty shirt,
in their mom's face.
Listen.
I picture them go, I'm not talking to you.
Absolutely.
Just don't give fuel to their fire. That's what they want. Literally, all these people want attention. That's all they want, is attention. Like, something is missing in their lives. They want the attention. So just don't give it.
Absolutely.
Or find a more positive way.
See, and I try to do that. I try to be a sensible person, but I'm a firm believer. of keep that same energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen,
So
Yeah.
you come at me sideways, I'm gonna do my best. Absolutely. I see a comment every now and again that's just like, and I let it sit for a day.
Yeah.
to work with him.
And then I go back and I'm like, you know what? This is why your grandmother. No,
Yeah.
see,
That's
but
what I'm saying.
I try to tell myself at this point, they're not mad at me. They're mad at what I represent, or what
System, or yeah.
they're mad at, like me not doing my own research and not just following suit to whatever, or me being confident enough to step out of the shadow or out of the group and be a person, or take it on the chin, to be like, hey, this is how I feel. My opinion wise, and not just it's somebody else's opinion. It's not Manny's opinion. It's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to keep the same energy most of the time, but I'm working on letting it just be where it is, and
I think
letting it be.
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place to be a little petty back.
Yeah.
You can't let people just walk over you all
Correct.
the time either. Like, I think there's a time and a place to stick up for yourself, give back a little bit of the same energy, because I mean, if you're a candidate too, you want people to see that you're not going to let people walk over you, and you're not going to just let people do whatever and talk to you however. Like, you just, demand your respect.
Absolutely.
Like, you don't speak to me that way, and I'm not going to take that from you. And
I think I'm going to put myself on my resume that I'm going to be a political responder. Like, so I can respond back.
No, don't put that on your resume.
I mean, I don't know.
That's a bad idea.
I want to be able to be like, to give like that little bit of oomph back. If you're going to throw something, listen, we throwing it back. Yeah, tripping. Pause. You know what I mean?
I mean, you could. I mean, really, all you have to do is like make a little burner account on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
You could do
I'm
that
gonna create
already.
a bot account, and I'm on you. I'm on all of you. For sure. But yeah, so go ahead.
So we were talking about how do we rally Gen Z, right? And the millennials, and say, hey, I think this is going. What we're seeing lately now, right, is for the record, we talk music all the time. We're seeing now in these campaigns and these parties and these, right, the artists now that they're bringing up, right?
Yeah.
So if you had a go-to, let's say, 4 artists that you were going to invite to get Gen Z and the millennials, fired up, you're going to say, hey, we're going to have these people come to perform at our, party, our campaign, our what I'm losing the
Coronation
the
or
conference,
something.
right?
Yeah.
Who are you bringing?
Okay,
Pressure.
so this is like really a hard question for me, because I don't think I've listened to any new music since probably 2004. Like, I'm a real 90s
Gotcha.
music
She's like, I'm bringing
kind of
Didi
person.
Pablo.
Yeah.
Yin Yang Twins.
Honestly, okay,
T-Pain.
yeah, because they were just at Tacos and Tequila last year, and that was awesome. You were there.
Yeah.
I would love that. I did love that, actually. So my question is my answer is probably going to be a little out of touch on that. I don't know. I know that like Taylor Swift is really popular.
Okay.
Probably Beyonce.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Getting them two on one set. Yeah, well, it's your show.
Listen,
so let's go.
absolutely.
That's crazy work. Let's go. That's
I
gonna
don't
be.
know who's
That's gonna be
popular
500,000
right
people.
Your opinion.
that's like millions.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I don't think we can afford
she
anyone
said,
else.
she
Well,
said,
this is
This
your
is
list.
free.
yeah,
It's your
hypothetical.
It's a magic wand.
Yeah.
So we got T Swizzy.
Yep.
We got Queen Bee.
Yeah.
Who else we getting? 2 more.
We need to get to the dudes.
I think we need Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick
because
Lamar.
that Super Bowl performance,
for sure.
that was really,
Okay.
He sends a message.
yeah.
And give me the wild card.
I personally, this is going to be my millennial answer, okay? I'm picking Eminem.
Okay.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
So we got M.
I think that would be a hell of a concert, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
T
Eminem,
Swizzy,
yeah.
M, Beyonce, and Kendrick.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that don't drive the vote up,
Absolutely. But
we dead.
But she
It's over.
But she did say, like I said, she stopped listening to music roughly around 2004. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Eminem might. Hopefully, he's calmed down a little bit.
He has not. I know
He
you have your-
hasn't. That's why I picked him. He's still very fiery.
And then, controversy around Beyonce right now, back and forth. So it's going to be very.
What's the contract? I don't
You
even
didn't
know.
see the Jean commercial with what's the blonde girl?
Oh, Sydney Sweeney.
And then they put Beyonce in with like a blonde wig or whatever.
I didn't see the Beyonce stuff.
And they kind of said like she was reverse cultural appropriation, like she was trying to be white or
I
something,
missed that.
or I don't know. Again, like I said,
I
this
love,
is
I love when they do.
so. But again, it's still going to polarize everybody that feels some type of way. Even the people that obviously love her too, we're going to come whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like it gives you a lot of insight. First of all, who you are, right? Because Eminem, Beyonce, Taylor Swift. And Kendrick, like that's a variety pack to say the least. Right?
She is very
she's very versed in a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty eclectic.
I was gonna say she has an eclectic view.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's going to touch a lot broader base of people as well. Because again, people that listen to Eminem, listen to Taylor Swift, like look at the spectrum right there. You know what I mean?
All right, so now let's get into though like you right? Like you said, you going back to 2004, like. You're trying to set up, a meeting or a meet and greet, something, right? Where you can get to the community, to get the people rally. What's going to fire you up? What are you putting on in the headset? What are you putting on in the car? That's going to get you like, all right, let's get this work.
Yeah. There's one Alessia Cara song called Wild Things.
Okay. Wild Things. Okay.
That's really about like standing up to.
Sing a little bit for us.
That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, you didn't see that part of the show before? Where you gonna
No. We're skipping that part of the show today.
Yeah, no, but we'll look it up.
Sorry, guys.
We'll look it up.
My daughters actually love
that song. Okay,
yeah,
sure.
I like her a lot. That's what I do put that song on a lot, especially like driving to protests and stuff. It gets me a little fired. It's a little bit about fighting back and like not really caring about fitting in. It's about like doing your own thing and like not really caring about fitting in and like being you and standing up for who you are instead of letting like society and whatever dictate what you do and who you are.
Absolutely.
So I mean, this is you probably already answered it, but let's ask it anyway. So if you had to pick an artist who would be able to play you in a movie.
Oh no.
Right? They're gonna play you, their music is going to capture
the soundtrack of
essence and the soundtrack of who Jess Meuzelaar is.
I don't know.
These hard questions.
It is a really hard question.
I'm out here. Yeah, I'm a journalist.
Yeah. I can be pretty fiery. I don't know. I would maybe just go ahead and pick like some Eminem music because I feel a little angry and fiery inside a lot of times.
So we're gonna put a wig on M.
Eminem's gonna provide the soundtrack. Who's gonna play you?
Well,
I don't know about now, but growing up, especially when I had blonde hair, this is not an artist, but Reese Witherspoon.
Okay, I can see that. I can see
that. Especially when I was younger, had blonde hair.
I can see that.
I don't know about a music artist.
Well, Eminem.
Eminem's gonna do the soundtrack for sure.
He's gonna have the soundtrack.
That's the fun. So I want y'all to know, she is all of maybe 5 feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Absolutely. But she don't play that.
But listen, I want y'all to listen. Y'all not listening.
Yeah, they gotta read.
She want the smoke.
Yeah, you gotta read between the lines what you
Be
say.
very careful, man.
Yeah.
Don't approach.
Yeah, big thing come in small packages around
Approach
here.
with caution. She's about that life. Now it makes sense why they said, do you want to be the chair?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They approached you.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
So if we're gonna leave the people with one message outside, they just obviously where to find you on social media.
Yeah.
Go ahead and call all that stuff out.
Instagram is at generally_just_Jess.
Okay.
And then on Facebook, I have 2 accounts. One is for family only, and then just look up Jess Meuzelaar, and the blue background picture would be all of my stuff that you should follow.
Gotcha. We'll make sure we get that listed down below. What's one message you want to leave the people with for 2025?
I just want people to get involved. I would love to see people out. I would love to talk to people. I want to hear what would get you fired up. What would get you voting for a candidate? What are you looking for? We're looking for more candidates too. So if you are wanting to run for something, totally get to us. And you don't have to be the full package. Like if you're a little iffy on social media, we can find you someone that can help you with your social media and stuff. We just need good people that want to help in the community, strong candidates. So I just mostly want people to get involved. I want to see them out. I want, please come to our events. Okay. Even if you're not in District 15, I would love to see you, love to talk to you, because I can connect you with your candidates.
So can me and Manny run as one candidate, but both of us be the same?
Like what's open? How do we find that?
Yeah.
How do we find out what's open?
Do you live in the same district?
We get a P.O. box.
Yeah, we
and
get
put it in the middle of town. I don't know. Let me know.
Can it be just for the record, brother?
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, how does somebody find
what's available?
Come to a meeting.
So follow
come to a meeting or
follow
shoot
Jess,
an email.
Yep, shoot her DMs.
She loves DMs.
All the conversation.
Yeah.
Send it to her, and then she'll relay it back to us, and we'll help y'all get involved.
Yeah.
Or hit KD.
Manny Dogs at Manny Dogs.
Loves photos.
If you start with feet first, you get a faster response.
No.
But yeah,
this is taking a different direction.
But we'll wrap it up quite nicely again. Make sure you follow Generally Jess.
Generally just Jess.
We'll find the link down below. You'll find it.
Yeah.
It's my man,
Manny Dogs.
I'm my host, K3. Hey, for the record. Salute.
Out of here.